Welcome, everybody, to the open mic stage. I'm your host, JTVA, also known as Josh. I'm here with the enigmatic, I think I'm using that word correctly, Cody Rock. Everyone say hi to Cody.
What is up?
Yeah, everyone's saying hi, Cody. Awesome.
Oh,
Great.
I love
So,
that. Thank you so much. Very
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, what's up, Iberian? Hey, long time no see, my
Hey,
guy.
hype.
So, welcome to the event. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, doing good, man. Doing good. It's been a wild week, but we're on Friday. We're on a weekend.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
really digging that. Really digging that.
Fun fact, this is the first job I've ever worked where I actually get, like, a weekend, and I've worked, like, a full, like, I worked 35 hours this week, so I
All
actually get,
right,
like, a
on.
weekend off, so
All right, yeah, that's your new gig, right?
yeah, I'm at Fox Sports, so
Fox Sports. Hell yeah, dude.
which kinda stinks because, like, I wanna well, no, the job's awesome, but, like, I edit videos all day, and I wanna edit videos, but, like, that's what I do all day. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah, that's
it
the rub. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. But you know what? I'm excited to have everybody here. We got a lot of people here, which is awesome. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So let's just start off with the easy question. Just the first one, just kind of warm up the room, kind of see how you feel. So
Sure.
tell us about, like, how did you decide you wanted to do commercial voiceover? That's the one we're gonna start with.
Uh, wow. There's a if there was a loaded question, if there's a loaded question, if there ever was one. Um, well, it's something that kind of like if in terms of commercial, it sort of it kind of like fell into me.
Mhm,
I haven't done like as much as some of my colleagues have,
mhm,
but I've done enough to where like, okay, I have a sense of what I've done, and I have
mhm.
a sense of what I do that works. And it's been it's been a hell of a ride. I've met a lot of cool people through it,
Mhm.
and worked with some interesting brands. I think I got a couple of spots airing in the Midwest right now.
Ooh.
Uh, I don't know exactly if I can talk about them because I don't know if they're airing right now. So I'm trying to keep it vague.
Yeah, better to err
But
on the safe side for sure.
yeah, erring on the side of caution.
Mhm.
I don't think I had to sign an NDA, but I'm also not gonna guess, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
for sure.
also like didn't have to
Mhm,
physically sign anything. Um,
mhm.
but when you think, well, let me ask you just kind of the follow
Sure.
up question. Like when you think commercial, what do you think? Like, do you think advertising is like
Mhm.
solo? Like, what do you think? Because
I
I know
think,
you've been
like,
around the VO
advertising
scene a
as
lot.
in, like, you have a read and you read it for a company. It could be anything. It could be, like, radio. It could be for voiceover for a commercial on TV. It could be a lot of things. I think commercial voiceover is invaluable, and I think that, it's something that it's a very good service to provide and also a great field for a lot of people. It's kind of where a lot of people say it's where the most income kind of comes in as a voice actor. I know a lot of working VAs that work in, like, anime and video games and stuff that point to commercial voiceover and say this is what you should do for sure. Do you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that, but
Mhm.
I'm also of the mind of be able to do as many things well as possible. I'm of the opinion that you should keep your portfolio diverse.
Mhm.
Um, like because I do quite a bit of stuff. You know,
Mhm.
I've done character work. I've done commercial, as we just said. I've done some e-learning. I've done some corporate narration. Uh,
Mhm.
I recently it did some, and you know, some video games, which I've recorded for a couple of
Mhm.
them in the last month or so, and those have been lots of fun.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also like it not only it's not just about broadening your skill set so much as it's broadening the kinds of service you can provide as a business owner because
Mhm.
as a modern voice actors are business owners and they have to think like that,
Mhm.
in not just in terms of rates or as um, uh, there are a lot of factors
Mhm.
uh, in it. Uh, so there's forgive me, I just completely lost my train of thought.
I can
But
add that.
there are
Oh,
just a
sorry.
lot. There are just I was just gonna say there's just the long and short of it is there's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into it, but you never know until you're in it.
I think being a
Right?
voice
In a lot of
actor
ways.
means you are a business. And I think that dipping your
Yep.
toes in as many areas as possible is going to make sure that business thrives. You have to market yourself. You have to present yourself to clients and make sure that you are marketable. Because when people hear
Absolutely.
your voice, you know, is it going to like say, "Hey, this voice is really friendly. I could buy something from that." Because the talent has to be there, but you also have to be able to market yourself. And it also, we've talked about that at the last open mic event about just kind of marketing yourself.
Yeah.
How would you say you market yourself as a voice actor?
Well, there are a couple of ways that I've been learning. I've been learning social media marketing
Mhm.
uh, from a coach, and that's been yielding some results. I've ended up getting I've ended up booking a couple of one or two video games, for example, like
Mm.
just by connecting with people on things on platforms like LinkedIn and
Mhm.
Instagram. Uh, accessibility has never been higher in many ways,
Mhm.
and social media is a great way to market yourself.
Mhm.
There's also email marketing, which I know many of my colleagues still kind of struggle with.
Cold
Many
calling,
of my
yeah.
cold calling, yeah, basically. Um, I prefer emailing, like if in the sense of cold calling, I prefer emailing purely because it's like it's you have the opportunity to pitch your service
Mhm.
to to potential clientele while also not being very if it's written the right way and
Mhm.
if it's presented the right way and if you're branded the right way. Like it doesn't feel pushy. It just feels like, hey, I'm here. It's about getting your name out
Yeah.
however you can.
You have to be authentic, and you have to be authentic and to the point, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's yeah, but I'd say but you never know where potential clientele draw their line in the sand if you've
Yeah.
never spoken to them, right? If you've
Mhm.
never had a correspondence. So it's important to be aware of that.
Mhm.
Uh, I have I've watched a lot of podcasts and videos about marketing um, that
Mhm.
say like especially in the case of uh, cold emailing. I don't remember exactly which one I heard this in, but so just be aware that this isn't a Cody Rock original idea. This is just
Mm.
like this is where but I just can't remember where I heard it. Um, this is it's you can be err on the side of being like a quote unquote aggressive in that you send an email, you don't hear back, and for X amount of weeks, it's okay to just say, "Hey, just following up. Hope you're doing okay."
Yeah.
Right? So you're not being pushy, but you're just like, "Hey, people are busy." Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes they won't see your email, right?
Gotta show them 'em you're dedicated.
Absolutely. And it's
Mhm.
about it's dedication without being and I'm blanking on who said this one too, but this one really stuck
Mhm.
with me. Nothing smells worse than desperate.
Yes.
And
I've heard that one before. I forgot who said it, but I've heard that one as well.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's something that I keep in mind. Like I want to make sure I'm as top of mind with the people I've worked with as I can be without being like, I need the work, right?
Mhm.
Because we all want as talent, we all want more work than we can handle, right?
Yes.
We want to be able to say no, right?
That's
So
the best
well,
position to be in.
right, yeah. We want to be like, sorry, man, I'm booked out, right?
Mhm.
Um, I don't think anyone actually wants to say no, but I think that they just want to. And many people that Josh, you and I have probably interacted with, we just
Mhm.
want to work on cool stuff with cool people,
Yeah.
right? We just want to hang out, and we just want to like, well, hang out in the most like professional sense. Um, we want to be able to do what we love. We want to be able to
Mhm.
get paid doing it. We want to be able to make a good living doing it.
Yeah.
And it's but it's also developing that business mindset,
Yeah.
right?
Because if
Because
you want to do
you are a
this, mhm.
product.
Exactly. If you want to do this seriously, I think the best way to follow the examples of people before who have come before you. Some people just kind of are so focused on their work, you don't really see any other side of them. Like, and some
Hmm.
people are just full on personalities. Like, I think two sides of the spectrum as far as voice actors go: Bryce Papenbrook and Alex Lee. Bryce Papenbrook, I don't really see talking on social media all that much, and really, but he markets himself so well, from what I hear from people, and that's why he's in so many things, or he's just right to the point. You know what I mean? Whereas Alex Lee, great social media presence, greatly in the ether of voiceover, and he's in a lot of stuff too because his name is out there. Do you kind of see
Right.
what I mean? So it's kind of just like two
Absolutely.
ways of going about it. You can be full business, or, well, no, that's not the right way to say it. What I'm trying to say is, got to find your own way to market yourself.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
And there are tons of different avenues to do that.
Hmm.
In whether or not whether you want to use social media,
Hmm.
emailing as your primary focus, because I know there are those that specialize in email marketing,
Yeah.
right? Um, I know the person I've been working with recently was Corey Disson. He's
Hmm.
been helping me with my social media marketing on LinkedIn and on Instagram, and that's been very helpful.
Hmm.
It's also he also pointed out to me, and I thought this was this was very insightful, that things like LinkedIn, platforms like LinkedIn, or primarily LinkedIn,
Hmm.
has sort of been, for lack of a better word, Twitterfied, in that there is in that it's being treated as something that it's probably wasn't intended for
Hmm.
by many. I'm not saying like, because that's a place where you can, that's a platform where you can say, hey, this is what I'm good at, this is what I do, this is what I do professionally, here's what
Hmm.
kinds of opportunities I'm looking for. So it's a great place for freelancers, for independent contractors like voice actors, um, to post content and market themselves, and like have conversations in a forum where that kind of conversation happens.
Hmm.
It's it's I don't think there are times and places where things like X and Instagram and Facebook they have their little spaces,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, where those conversations happen regularly, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But not Instagram. LinkedIn is a place where people post their professional work if they're allowed to. If they're, things like, hey, if you're a video producer, you're just like, oh, look at this thing I shot,
Hmm.
right? Look at this thing I shot and edited. And if you're an independent game developer, you'll probably show off like, oh, look at this render, all right, or this skybox, or like, hey, look how well I'm create. Look at these assets I created for my upcoming project.
With all the right
Uh,
hashtags and all that jazz too.
oh yeah, and
Hmm.
that was something I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
Right, because I was a lot of my posts on LinkedIn, especially early on in my VO career, is had voiceover, voice acting, voice actor, those things.
Yeah.
Guess who was seeing my posts?
Other voice actors.
Correct. And are they in a position to hire you?
No.
Probably not. Probably not. Um, it's so it's another and each platform like LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and X, they use hashtags in similar ways, but also in slightly different ways algorithmically. I
Hmm.
don't know the answer to how they use them, but I was just told, do it this way. And I go, okay, yeah, fine. I can do that. I'll listen to people smarter than me any day of the week.
For sure. And that's
I
a
know how to
really
act.
important thing I want to touch on. Listen
Yeah.
to people around you. Listen to everyone.
Absolutely.
Be an avid listener. I think that's one thing that I struggled with a lot as a voice actor, was kind of like listening to my peers that were giving me feedback, asking for help, asking for coaching, asking for advice. Literally nothing bad can come from that.
The worst that someone can say if you ask a question is no. Or if hopefully you're looking for a specific thing, there is someone in this industry, wherever they may live, whatever space they might play in, that, they know how to do things that you want to do. For example, I was at a Mid-Atlantic Voiceover Conference a few weeks back, MAVO, let's call it. I mean, it's short. MAVO is short for Mid-Atlantic Voiceover. Yeah. I think I may have mentioned it to you at one point in one of our conversations, Josh. It's a put on by a talent named Val Kelly out of Washington D.C. It's a great conference. It's boutique. And there you can really get to know the people that are there. And it's other talent, sure, but it's also producers, it's also casting directors, it's also dialogue directors, it's writers. I took a seminar with a general session with a writer on the most recent iteration of DuckTales.
Oh,
she was there. And she was great, like a really sharp, savvy, funny person. And the way she presented her concepts, which was writing for animation. And she goes, writing for animation is just writing, and then broke down like the 3-act structure in a very digestible way. And I could tell things all night long.
Yeah.
But there were also people there that just that are talent, but also present on things that they do to get in front of other people. One of the people I often point to is Mark Scott. Everyday VOpreneur, VOpreneur.com. Give him a little shout out, a little plug. He specializes. He helps a lot of talent with their marketing. Right? That is part of what he specializes in. And he doesn't have like millions of followers, right? He's got a few thousand, but he's got a few thousand across, however many platforms he's on. I think he's on many of them. I watch his YouTube videos like with bated breath, right? Because everything, he's one of those guys, like when it comes to marketing your voiceover business, he says he has a lot of really great information. He talks to a lot of really great people on his show. And Corey as well. Like Corey's not a talent, but he's been on the production side and the marketing side for 3 decades before he became a solo act. And he's helped a lot of people, and he's helped a lot of talent, personal friends of mine, like really take their business to the next level. And he's been helping me a lot too, and I really appreciate it. So there are people that help talent with those things.
You just got to meet
regardless. You just got to meet them, and you just got to reach out. Their email addresses are on their website, and I think I saw something in the chat. If they've given their email, or if it's public, it's there for a reason, and I think that's brilliant.
I got to be better at that personally. I've emailed a few people already, but I just got to be more persistent. And patient. That's a theme that's come up a lot in our talks. Here. Persistent and patient. And I think that's part about being a voice actor.
Absolutely. It's part about being an independent contractor.
Exactly. Because that's what you are.
That's what you are. That's exactly what you are. And Now, to any of my more established colleagues out there who happen to listen to this, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a long game. It's really a long game. Especially like marketing is definitely a long game. You might, get some bites here and there, and if you send your demo to the right place, you might get listened to, right? And there are ways to position yourself in the industry as XYZ based on a bunch of different factors. There are ways to do it, and there are straightforward ways to do it, but at the same time, you have to ask for it. But at the same time, like the flip side of that coin is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of younger talent that don't know what they don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. Right. And then I
think I still don't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, as a casting director, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah. And you're making, and some of it you're going to learn as you go. Right. And others you can ask for that kind of that guidance. Don't ask for another person's client list. You won't get it. But it's a teach a man to fish sort of scenario. In my mind, you give that coaches will give you the tools to develop your own client base, to develop your email lists, to develop your to show you how to use a CRM, which I recommend because I'm just learning to use a CRM for emailing.
Define a CRM for everybody.
Yeah. Let me get an actual like definition because I'm going to end up not being. It's a customer relationship management software.
Oh.
It's software that gives you the ability to like send a bunch of emails or like it's manage interaction between clients, right? Customer relation manager is another way to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shout out to Silly Goops in the chat.
Shout out to Silly Goops.
So those are those being able to use that, and there are a lot of free options out there like HubSpot and MailChimp and making and just there. Bottom line is, before I trip over my words, there are a lot of ways to do it. And there are a lot of free resources that you can use that when you start making money, you might upgrade to another version and unlocks a bunch of other features that you might find neat or some other bells and whistles that just make your life a little more wonderful. But it's but the tools are out there. And I urge everyone to ask the question, what is out there?
I wanted to follow up on something you just said though, like when you start getting hired or when you start getting jobs, you kind of upgrade your materials and upgrade your stuff. Is there a certain, like, I asked this last time, and I think I'm going to ask every single interviewer and every single person, voice actor, this. Is there a certain point where you're like, all right, it's time to upgrade? Is there a certain, like, booking rate, or is there a certain, like, point in your career where you're like, all right, I think I can upgrade this, or I can do this?
It just depends on that depends on a lot of things. Like one, not the least of which is your lifestyle and what you pay for, and making sure your bills are paid first, and being able to put away for savings and retirement, things like that. You kind of know when you're in a comfortable spot where I can just be like, hey, I can get the paid version of HubSpot or like upper level CRM. I can afford those those monthly things, and they're a great tax write-off. Don't get me wrong. But you don't want to spend something you don't have. That's my view, right? Every business has a startup cost, right? But
every business has a startup cost. That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah,
every you'll spend like four figures in classes and mic material before you even get your first professional gig.
In coaching and gear and just infrastructure, loosely termed, right? Just being able to like going out and finding the work.
Yeah.
right? Because there are a ton of ways to do that other than emailing and social media. There's
Mhm.
also casting sites, which people are hot and cold on depending on what it is.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, and so I won't get into the ethics of that, right? But
Yeah, like the
um,
pay-to-play sites or anything like that.
yeah, pay to play sites, yeah. But there are ways to utilize them to your advantage to that. But the days of going just on pay to plays, in my view, and the days of going on just having just pay to play subscriptions and making a full time living, they're gone and not coming back.
Mhm.
There were a few. There were quite a few that could and have and likely still do. But as far as new talent,
Mhm.
especially since COVID, there's been a huge influx of talent into the business, and not all of them are going to make. Not all of them are going to cut mustard.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if that's going to be controversial to say, but that's
No,
just
it's
like it's
honest. We want honesty here.
right. It's I just don't want to. I want to be honest, but I don't want to like I don't want to make it feel like I'm pointing any fingers. But
Listen, it's a tough
um,
job. It's a
it
tough,
is
tough industry to get into. And if you it's an art and it's a business. So if you want to be an artist, be an artist, be a voice artist, do that. But if you want to be a voice actor and a voice actress and just kind of like be in the business, there's like Red Muffler brought it up correctly. There's only so much money. You have to fight for it and you have to really market yourself and prove that you are worth your mustard. It's just you have to take it seriously.
you absolutely have to take it seriously, but I wonder what that means. There's only so much money. I think in my just purely in my view, and maybe it's because I have a diverse enough portfolio that I can do a bunch
Mhm.
of different kinds of what. Yeah, right.
You could just
that was
print more, yeah.
you can just print more. That's pretty funny. Um, I like that a lot, actually.
It's a good mindset to have, actually.
It's a good mindset to have. Genius. Um, yeah, there's diversifying your portfolio. It's so important because there is only you might not get the animation or video game gig that you want, right? You're going to audition for hundreds probably
Mhm.
before you get one that you want, right? It's a numbers
Yeah.
game.
I've sent about 150 auditions this year. I've only booked 4 things, which is a good conversion rate, which a lot of voice actors say
It's
that
not
is a really
bad.
good conversion rate. I actually just booked my first video game. So
Rock and roll,
but
dude.
that's after 7 years of auditioning. I'd never been in a video game before. So
Right.
it's just a lot of work and a lot of building yourself up.
Right. Like I think I heard this from a coach of mine, Brad Highland, who I think was told this by another talent. Was it? It might have been. I don't. It was it Bridget Reel? Maybe I don't know. I was told this. Regardless, he's who I heard it from, even though he didn't come up with this. Um, Auditioning is your conditioning, and
Yes.
getting the gig is just icing on the cake.
Auditioning is the job. I think every single
Yeah,
voice actor I've ever talked to has said that auditioning is the job.
auditioning is the job, marketing is the job. Like that's just freelancing, right?
Yeah.
You're bidding on as many possible jobs as you can, and that's part of what that's yeah, bidding on as many possible jobs in whatever form that might take
Yeah.
is exactly what you're looking for.
Mhm.
Um, I had an agent. I don't Devin Boy. Is that how you pronounce your
Yeah.
name?
Devin.
That's an interesting one. Devin. Okay. Well, thank you for your contribution, Devin.
Yeah, we'll have a Q&A
He's
more. We'll have an open floor in a little bit. I just wanted to ask one last question because I think you've answered a lot of my actually 2 questions. Because you've answered most of the questions I had written down just through our conversation, which is awesome.
right
Um,
on. I hope it's useful.
yeah, I believe so. I think honestly, the business side of it is so important to really know, and I really feel like you've given some great insight on that. So thank you.
And if I don't know and feel free to just like reach out anytime and ask me questions. If I don't know the answer, I will point you to someone who does. Like I'm not going to pretend I know what I don't know.
Cody is one of
It's
our voice
just an
coaches, everybody. So just saying,
yeah. I mean, feel free to
I
reach
want your
out.
DMs flooded.
Dr. D. Go to my website, email me.
Okay. So
It's okay. It's okay.
I have two questions left. So how do you balance work life and social life? Because you not only do voiceover, but you also you also are working, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm working full time. Yeah.
Yep. So how do you balance that? Because I know I asked my friend Alec how we kind of handle that last time, but I like getting everyone's opinion on this. Like, how do you personally balance it?
I am very strict with my time.
Mm-hmm.
I work my day job at my designated hours. I do VO for an X for, I block out time each day to dedicate to it. I get home at like say 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
After working my 9 to 5. All right, from 5 to 6, I'm gonna, chow on some food, and I'm gonna do my marketing. I'm gonna do my marketing tasks that I've been kind of conditioned to do, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 6 to 8, I will record auditions and send out networking emails and check out. So sometimes I'll just listen and also listen to spots.
Ooh.
Right, like here's a pro tip. Listen for commercial is listen to the spots that are airing. Listen to what's booking. Listen to the reads that are like, especially from the top talent, and listening to demos from demo producers from top talent that are like either winning awards or you just happen to like, and that they're working full time. Those are 2 free things you can do to kind of like get a sense of where things are at. Just for whatever reason, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Well, it's just kind of balancing. I think you've already answered it. It's just kind of blotting out time for voiceover when work and your
right.
social life. Yeah. You've already answered
Absolutely.
it pretty much.
Absolutely. But the bottom line and the very basic thing is, let's just like it's not time management that's necessarily a problem for folks that I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Mavo. I was working with a guy, Sean Pratt. He's an audiobook narrator. He's got probably 1,000 books he's narrated under his belt, right? He's huge in that space. He's the nonfiction guy. I'm not. I've never done audiobooks. It's been very. It's sort of intimidating. So I wanted to like learn from him, so that it's not as intimidating. Just kind of get his perspective on it. Time management isn't necessarily the problem. Like blocking out the time, going into your calendar, and just like the calendars exist for a reason. You go in there and block out the time. It's the focus management.
Yeah.
And this is something that I heard from him either in person or on a podcast, because he's a brilliant guy and I like listening to what he has to say, regardless. Like, because he's extremely strict with his time, and in his time when he's focused. And he's been able to learn, and he's learned to focus his energy into those specific times. Like I set a 45-minute timer. I'm going to record for those 45 minutes. After those 45 minutes, I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to take a nap or whatever I'm going to do something, and then come back for another 45 minutes at a like decided interval and just do that. He's very strict with his time. And I think a lot of that, there's a lot that can be learned from that. Is the focus management, right?
Focus management,
so, yeah. Look up Sean Pratt. He can on YouTube. He's got a bunch of interviews, and he'll be able to he goes through the artistic process, but he also has the business track. Also. He's a very smart guy. So yeah, again, awesome. Focus management.
Focus management. That's a good takeaway from this for sure. I got one last question for you, and then we'll open it up. If you could tell yourself something at the beginning of your voiceover career, what would you tell yourself?
Jeez.
Another loaded question. I like to bookmark.
I like to bookend.
I like to bookend these.
I'm glad. No, this is great. Sell out early. Oh my God. silly goops. You're out here with the
The
good
zingers.
material, with the zingers. Um, learn to use social media more effectively. You learn to like it's basically the marketing and business advice that I gave throughout this conversation is basically what I would tell myself, because when I started, I was very much in the thing of very much in a similar mindset to like, well, he's an act, like voice actors are actors, like they don't have
Yeah.
to do anything else. Wrong. um, they they have to be good at their craft, right? They have to be good actors. But having talent and developing talent, that's a prerequisite, not a promise. And that is something I think early talent just starting out should be aware of. And that's one of the favorite. I don't know if that's been said at all, but that's one of the things that I keep in mind when I see like younger talent, quote unquote younger. I like to think I'm still young.
Yeah. Damn right.
Talent is a prereq, not a promise. It's a I don't know if it's been said before, but that's kind of what I'd like tell people newer to the business. There are ways to further yourself in a safe and healthy and not stepping on any toes or like undercutting anybody or anything, right? Because nobody wants to do that. In the voiceover industry, most of us are very like open and just like, hey, I if they sometimes they'll get offered a gig and be like, I don't know if I'm the right fit for that.
But
Why
this
don't you
one
go over
person
to
might be.
this other person? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very good at hiring each other. They're very good at sharing their networks. I say hiring each other very loosely because at the beginning of this conversation, I just said, we don't, voice actors don't hire each other off of LinkedIn.
Well, right? Okay, they hire each other in the way that they kind of sell each other. Maybe
right,
they refer or sell each other might be better.
Right.
A better way to say it, just because voice actors, when they work together, build a rapport. And if you can build a good rapport with voice actors and voice directors, you're going to find yourself in rooms very often.
Yeah, and getting in those rooms is so critical, like either digitally or in person if you can. Like I know Josh, you're out on the West Coast now.
Yes, sir.
There's the ability to you have the ability to be in get in some of those rooms. Those are great.
Well, I mean, I'm also heavily focused on my job I just got, so.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah. You want to absolutely fulfill the responsibilities of your job. There's no question about that. This is outside of that when you're not working.
Open mic is just something that is so dear to my heart, though, and I really am thankful that I have it, and I'm really happy that you're here as well.
No, thank you for having me, man. This is great. I'm glad you asked me to come on.
Of course. Any last closing remarks before we open it up to the floor?
I think I summarized it pretty effectively.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Prereq is talent's a prereq, not a promise.
Focus management, huge.
Focus management is massive, and I know this is going to sound like a platitude, but don't give up. This is a long game.
This is a long game.
Purely because this is called a journey for a reason, because there's no end point, right? It is like so just remember to pace yourself. Like you will know when you are ready to like go full time and do be able to broaden the services you provide or do whatever. You will know when you are ready to make certain choices.
I want to harp on that said you will know when you are ready. That is every voice actor I talk to said, like every professional VA I know says you will know when you are ready to make that next step. That is the biggest takeaway I can give. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think on that note, we are ready to open up the floor. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand in a calm and orderly fashion.
I want to hit up.
We got our first one. All right, Mr. Goops. Yay!
Hello.
Hello.
How are
Hi.
you guys doing?
Great.
Quick question,
Great.
just as more of just a curiosity. How many things did you like for specifically for commercials? How many auditions did you do before you got your hit? And what's your like hit ratio?
Ooh.
Well, my hit ratio is around 57 to 1.
Cool, that's pretty good.
That's really
it's not
good.
bad. Like it used to be, you know, whatever it used to be, but that was but as far as how many I did before I hit my first commercial, hundreds maybe. At least a couple hundred. And yeah, are you, for example, are you doing this like remote? Are you in a hub? Like what's
Me personally?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm doing it remote. I also have a full-time job, so I'm thankful
yeah.
to have a decent studio.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally fine. You're in the right place.
Absolutely.
You are among those who are in the same boat as you are, my friend. And honestly, most voice actors are doing it remote. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
I only moved to LA because, you know, my sister's here. If I had the opportunity to like work remotely, I would. But like, I do actually. I like living in LA. But, you know,
right, yeah.
It's just kind of like people say, oh, you have to live in LA, you have to live in Texas. That's not necessarily true per se. Depending on what field you go in. Like, I want to be in like animation and video games. LA is probably the best spot to be.
Yeah, I mean, if it's for specific, especially for specific franchises, maybe.
Yeah,
but we
but
don't
Texas,
know what.
New York, also great places.
Yeah, and you know, Chicago.
Well,
right?
shout out to Chicago.
Some Chicago's like commercial heaven, from what I understand.
Yeah,
and like it definitely goes back to marketing. A lot of it goes back to marketing because you can like I booked like 2 video games off of LinkedIn, right? Like I didn't
just by cold
audition.
calling?
They just by just connecting with certain people and joining LinkedIn groups and like going on and seeing what people have been doing and commenting on it, starting a conversation. You would be like people love to talk about what they do.
Yeah,
I
talk about what I do all the time.
I don't say a word about what I do, and I'm horrible at marketing. But I just kind of let it speak let my I've been letting my LinkedIn profile speak for myself. Like it's not a great. It's not. I joke, but I like to demonstrate some interest and some I say this word sort of loosely, competency in what you see and in what you hear. Just interact with someone's content who you want to hire you or is in the same realm of someone you want to hire you. You find this video producer that's out there. You comment on their stuff. If you like watch their videos saying like, hey man, this editing is great. I love this is really heartfelt. This really, this was very touching to me. And like things like that, and ask questions, start conversations. That is like, let people know that they're proud of their work and you are too.
That's how I met Ghoul. That's how I met him. I commented on one of his videos with our friend Aaron. And that's how I met a lot of my friends. I just commented on their videos and they just kind of went from there.
Yep.
But yeah. Thank you, Goops, for that question. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
All right. We have Devin who's asking a question. Let's invite Devin to speak.
All right.
Devin!
I'm always asking questions. Hello. Hi.
Hey, Devin. How are you?
I'm full of chicken.
That sounds great.
Damn it. I wanted chicken. I didn't get chicken before this. I was so sad.
What's the best place to get chicken near you, Devin?
I mean, for me, I got Raising Cane's, so.
Oh, okay. That's rad. That's rad. I like that.
My wife was like, I was like, what should we do for dinner? She's like, I don't know, but I want chicken. I'm like, Raising Cane's it is.
All right. Hey, that's a great way to do it. It's a great way to do it.
Nice.
But
you made me hungry for
I
chicken.
guess
yeah, I want some chicken.
That's good. But I guess my questions before we continue to talk about chicken here, it's so you said like speak with other people and talk with other people. I always fear that when I try to do that, or when I try and talk with people who I want to work with, or who I would like to work with, that it might come off as like disingenuous. And that's, I
Mhm.
think, like my biggest fear when it comes to working with other content creators, or wanting to work with other content creators, because like
Sure.
I like what they do, and I like the content that they make, but like I don't want to just get in their good graces just so I can voice act for them. You know, does that make sense? Like, I don't want to come off as just like, this is like, I only want to speak with you because I want to work with you. You know, it just,
It makes total sense. And it's good that I think the fact that you're conscientious about that means that you're less likely to be disingenuous. Like, say you find a content creator that you like, which I assume you already have. You probably
Several.
have some. Okay, so you have some people in mind. Like, interacting with their content in a respectful and like, I don't want to say detail oriented way. Like, point out something they did really well. I liked the sound design at 143 in this video. I
Mhm.
just like, what did you do to make that happen? Or something like that. The more specific the question you can ask, I find anyway, is a more like is a more likely to get a response,
Right.
because you're taking an active interest in pursuing someone else's content, right? And we're in a world where content creation is king at the moment, right? Where like, and king in the sense that everyone has to do it in
Right.
this climate. Like, it's everyone has to do it to, I won't say maintain relevancy, but it's just another marketing tool. Like, it's a way to keep yourself in the presence of mind, top of mind. So I don't know exactly how else to phrase that, but other than like, you can say things,
Mhm.
and it sounds like you have people whose content you are passionate about. So you can asking a thoughtful question makes people's day,
Mm.
in my mind. At least when I get asked something like, man, that's a great question.
Mhm.
Like, if it's a very detailed and specific thing, especially.
Yeah, because like I'm
I've actually
always. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, continue. I
Yeah,
was just yeah.
because I'm always trying to make my own content better.
Mhm.
Like, and I have ideas of content that I want to make, like, doing voiceover, and then there's like people I'd like to ask that I'd like to have them voice in some of the stuff I want to do. And it's just like, but like I want to make my content the best it can be. I don't want to have like these people in my like subpar content. So it's just very much like I want to learn how to make my content better at the same level that these people are making their content.
Sure.
And like, and it's just like asking those questions. It's like I'm always just afraid of just like, again, like coming off as like disingenuous, or coming off as like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or something like that. It's just like that. I guess that's my biggest fear, is like I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing, when it's like I don't, but I don't want to like wing it and be like an
It's
idiot. Yeah, just yeah.
right. It is, I think it's best in that regard to just like, hey, I don't know what I'm to be just upfront about it. Like,
Mhm.
being honest and upfront goes a long way. And especially when you're creating a relationship with these people, with these creators. That's what you want to be able to do. You're building know, like, and trust, right?
Right.
Can you I think the question, when you want to interact with someone's content, one thing, say you want to comment on a YouTube video, you see
Mhm.
one specific thing you like the how did you do that, XYZ kind of, XYZ question mark, that kind of thing. Um and like Red Muffler just said, just be honest, in the sense like, I want to learn how to do this, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated. That's one way of going about it, right? Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it absolutely makes sense. Like, there's like, I mean, heck, there's content creators like, I mean, even Red. Like, I've seen stuff that Red's put out there. I'm just like, how did he edit that like that? Like, how did he do that? Like, how?
Right.
Like, what? So like, or like, I know sometimes he just pays people to do stuff too, but it's just like, I wish I was that funny, or I wish I could write like that, you know. But like,
Right,
and that's
sure.
the
Yeah.
other thing is I've been told like to watch more. So I think the last time you did,
Yeah,
like, an
I said
open
that. That was
for-
me. I
yeah,
said
you-
that.
yeah,
Hello.
Yeah, you said to watch more stuff. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, and I've been doing that. I've been trying.
Yeah.
So
It's funny that you mentioned that because like at Mavo, there was a lot of animation people there, and that's something I'm keen to participate more in, and you know, as well as gaming as well, and you know, that's my favorite stuff to do. And Josh can tell you, we've had many a conversation where we were just like, oh, this is cool. I want to be in part of this.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the years that we've known each other,
Mhm.
it is at the end of the day, it is a relationship business, and building those relationships is like it starts with asking those questions.
Mhm.
Like,
And
how
don't
did
be
you
afraid
do
to
this? Or
ask.
like, and right, exactly. And I just remembered my point. At Mavo, there was a woman named Serena Irwin that was there. She was the director on SpongeBob, and she was the voice of SpongeBob's mom, and XYZ. There was also Katie Lee, who was on Totally Spies, and Richie Rich back in the 80s, right? And just like these people have resumes as long as my arm, right? Of all these awesome projects they happen to be a part of. And when we asked what we wanted, and when someone asked, how do we get better at being an animation voice actor outside of the coaching and outside of XYZ? And they said, just watch cartoons. Watch cartoons. You want to listen to, like I said earlier, if you want to get better at identifying the trends in commercial, what kind of conversational or quirky humor or whatever, listen to more spots. iSpot.tv is massive. Like it's a huge repository for commercial content of what's currently airing. And you can find all the brands on there. Like it's just for example. And it's just like, if you want to get better at although it's kind of hard to get better at e-learning, especially when like so much stuff internally is proprietary. In that regard, I would say listen to more demos, right?
Yeah.
So things like that are more internal. Listen to some demos from top talent. But yeah,
like,
did that answer the question? I wasn't sure.
yeah,
exactly.
no, it absolutely did. It really does help out. I think my issue is like I need to be more comfortable with asking those things too. And
Yeah.
and Red's literally called me out in chat. It's just like, ask me things. Well, Kill, ask me, God, jeez. But
right, exactly.
Yeah.
See,
And
they love that. They love the questions. Yeah.
and on that note, I do want to say, Josh, with the advice you gave me last time that you had the open mic stage here, like I said, I have been watching more things, and through watching more things, I have discovered like more voices that I am like becoming more comfortable with doing.
Yes. Good.
It's just so much fun. It's just so silly. And it's just been good practice for me, because I'll listen to something and I'll like read it back, or I'll record it back, or I'll voice it back. I mean, I recently did I had like a audition, and I was just like, I'm gonna watch like all these different versions of this specific person, and then like just kind of do my own sort of voice off of it and figure out like how I can do it. And like, and I felt comfortable with the way I did it. And yeah, so it's been helping out a lot. So I appreciate all the feedback I've been getting from this, honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why we're here. I mean, just for
Absolutely,
me
man.
personally, I booked my first game role because I watched, there were two roles that I kind of combined. I don't know if you've seen the movie There Will Be Blood, but Paul Dano is absolutely a showstopper in there. And I channeled his performance in that movie, as well as Ozymandias from Watchmen. I channeled those two kind of, kind of channeled those two. And like,
Tremendous.
and then I got the role. So I was just watching some more stuff, and then I was like, hey, I can maybe try this in my next audition, and I got it. So it's really just about like putting yourself in those shoes and not being afraid to wear different kinds of shoes, if that makes sense.
No,
I'm really
it
bad at
makes perfect
analogies.
sense. No, I get it. I was sitting there thinking it's just like, man, I only have like 2 pairs of actual shoes, and
I only have
neuropathy
one.
makes getting shoes a pain.
I lost my other pair of shoes. I don't know how that happened.
You lost them in
Right.
the move. It happens.
All right. Well, thank you, Devin. I appreciate your you
Thanks so
asking the
much, Devin.
questions.
Nice to
Thank
meet you,
Thank
brother.
you. I'm prepared to be yeeted now.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
You have
This is
been yeeted.
great.
Yeah, no, I love doing these. Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Oh, Josh, one more thing. I
Yes.
did the for whatever reason I just remembered this. I voiced in the videos that explained Discord's stage channels, setting up
Really?
stage channels. Yeah.
That was you?
That was one. I was one of them. Yeah.
Wow, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
moly.
it's been great. Well, they had a couple of animated ones that were really cool, and
Mhm.
I'm just like, yeah, what's up, Discord? How we doing?
I love the stages. I've always wanted to do one of these, and now I'm doing them, and it's just really cool. So
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
stage channels are really cool. I really dig this.
yeah. All right. Well,
I just want to answer Hype's question here.
oh, okay.
Cody, voice coach, when I'm at the top of my game, I would hate to think where I'm at right now is my zenith. I want to be as good as I possibly can. Well, I think that's a bit open-ended. I want to be comfortable in what I'm doing and working as much as I would like to be working.
Mhm.
But I want to be able to understand the shifts in the industry and what's booking and what's not. I want to be able to have a sense of that first.
Yeah.
I can give if it's just a chat, I'm happy to chat right now. I don't have a coaching infrastructure right now for sure. But like something like this, I'm happy to share my perspective.
Yeah.
And there are definitely like if anyone, and I just want to sort of like finish up by saying finish up this particular train of thought that if y'all have any questions, just hit me up, man. I'm happy to answer DMs.
I mean, that's why we have the voice coaches roles. If you guys ever want to like ask questions, you can ping the role and go from there. I mean, Open Mic Studios is growing alongside you guys. Like we are a baby studio. We just started. Our first project is through Dead of Night, you know? So
right.
we're just kind of moving on up.
All I ask is that, hey, I'm from this like Discord server or this project we were in first. Like tell me where we had
that is very good etiquette. That is I need everyone to drill that in their heads right now. If you are messaging someone, do not just go hi. Just say hi. Just say hello, I'm so and so and this is what I'm doing. Give as much information as you can in your first message. Do not say hi, how are you? Just go right into it because people will ignore you.
That is like email marketing 101, right? If you email hi, I'm probably just going to delete it. I wouldn't even look at who sent it, right? Just like anyone who gets emails. Josh, I'm sure you get a lot of emails. Like, and you're just like, and some of them you're just like you reflexively delete them offhand. And that's totally understandable. People are busy. Like, just tell me, like, I demand you tell me voice acting things. Okay,
busting your DMs with a gun, like,
right. But if anyone in this server just says, hey man, I'm in the open mic thing, open mic studios, or I saw this, or I saw the recording of this, or whatever, and just said, I had a couple of questions. Can you point me in the direction of this, of X, Y, and Z? I'm happy to do that. Happy to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's I am available, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If I am not, I try to be responsive, but if I'm not, please don't take it personally. I'm a scatterbrain, and I try my best to kind of keep things in order.
Awesome.
But I'm still human, please.
I'm going to pull a Sean Evans, and I'm going to say, is there anything you want to plug right now? Or anything you want to, like, shout out?
Anything I want to plug? Wow, that is. You see, I never know exact. Devin, nice image, dude. I never know what to say in these things, so I'll just say, hey, if you want to chat. So let me just start getting into the start a podcast right now, and plug it here. I have been thinking about it, but it's but if you want to just see more of my stuff, go to CodyRockVoiceover.com for more info and to see some of my work. And if you want to reach out, feel free to reach out. Tell me you're from Open Mic Studios, or you saw the playback, or whatever, wherever this ends up, and just say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want, and I'll. If I start a podcast, I'm going to be plugging it here. I hope that's okay, Josh.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that eventually these become a podcast too. We'll go from there. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Cody. I really appreciate it.
No, Josh, thank you so much for having me, because this is such a useful forum, in that I think these need to be more conversations need to be like this, need to be had at the, I don't want to say indie level, because that makes it sound like
we are the indie level. We're the independent level. I mean, I have a few people lined up that I want more conversations to be had. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Indie levels to me, and this is just me being like boring suit man, makes me think, oh, that means lower earning potential, and I don't think that, and I do not want to think that, and I don't want anybody here to think that either, right? Anyone listening, just because you're independent does not lower your earning potential, or does not lower the quality of the kinds of projects that you can do in this business.
I mean, look at like Lethal Company. If you want to talk about indie level, it's outselling Call of Duty right now on Steam.
I bought it today.
Yeah, we gotta play. We gotta play sometime, you and me.
Oh, dude, I'd happily do.
Yes, I'm gonna start streaming it. But yeah, once I get my face cam set up, so maybe the game will be alive. Maybe the game might be dead by the time I get my face cam set up in March. But we'll see. All right. On that note, I will wrap up there. Thank you everyone so much for coming by. We'll probably do another one of these in 2 weeks. So make sure to tune in.
Yeah, thank you again for having me on, Josh. Have a good one, guys.
You as well.